Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do another painting without any cuts. So let's get started. We'll start off today with a little bit of blue on the 2-inch brush. And I'll come right up here and quickly drop in a sky. I'm starting at the top and letting it get lighter as it comes down, because I want everything toward the horizon to be nice and light. So gently work it down to about halfway. And just fill it in, lighter down toward the horizon. There we go. Just work that pink right in. Alright, I'm going to grab a little bit of black and make the corners darker. I want the corners to be very dark, because this will kind of draw your eye in toward the middle of the painting. A little bit on this side. Let them blend. Now, I'll grab a clean 2-inch brush. You may have to wash one of yours. I have a few going. And I'll blend out this sky. Don't want to blend it totally away. I want to leave a little bit of variation between light and dark. Just want to blend slightly. There we go. That looks pretty good. I think we're going to paint some clouds. So I'll grab a 1-inch brush and pull it through a little bit of white. And we'll drop in some clouds. Using the corner of the brush, and I'm kind of swirling them in, just like that. Not a big deal. We're just looking for a basic cloud shape. And don't make the whole thing bright white. Leave areas where it's dark, areas where there's no paint, and then other areas where it's very thick and very bright. It'll give you a lot of variation in your clouds. Another thing we want is a nice uneven pattern. We don't want any symmetrical patterns here at all. These are very loose. There we go. Maybe carry that one right off. Now to blend those clouds, we can go back to that 2-inch brush and very, very lightly work out the bottom of the cloud. Just a little. I want to destroy the bottom. Make it blend into the sky. Grab a clean brush and lift up very lightly. Very, very lightly. This doesn't take much. Just a few times and leave it alone. And then we'll blend horizontally. Alright, looks pretty good. Now we can think about a mountain. So grab a little bit of black on the knife. And I want a mountain right there today. Just drop it in. Kind of make up a shape in your mind and let it happen. It's hard to mess up mountain shapes. All you want is a rough shape. Don't want a pyramid. There we go. Maybe we don't want it too large today. So we'll stop right about there. That mountain will grow a little when you grab it and pull it. See that? Got a little bit larger. What I'm doing here is blending out the bottom. See how it looks soft and misty? Just the way I want it. Very soft, kind of floating up there. There we go. Before we go too far, I want to grab a little bit more blue and paint some water. I want some water in the painting today. It's very easy. Just pull in from the sides, leaving a light area in the middle. There we go. Back to that blending brush, and very lightly go over that. There we go. That should be good. Some of that will get covered up, but I think it'll be nice. So here's a little bit of white on the knife. And let's highlight. I'm going to start at the top and very lightly let it run down. Very lightly. If you push too hard, you won't get any of this breaking. And I want this breaking. This is very nice. There we go. And don't overdo. Just a little bit. Kind of shape your mountain. Very light. Very, very light. Maybe a little bit up here. There. Just a little. And when you're painting your mountain, step back and look at it. It's kind of hard to see when you're up close. Step back and look. There's a little bit right there. Alright, now we're going to grab a little bit of blue and white. And this will be a nice shadow color. So just let it come right across the mountain. Think about the angle of the mountain when you're doing this. Very light. I'm going to add a little bit of white to that, lighten it up a little, so you can see it a little better. There you go. And there we go, just a little. Maybe go over this one. Yeah, that looks good. Touch right there. Just a touch. Be very careful that you don't push too hard when you're doing this. It's a gentle touch. That's all. Just the gentlest little touch. Back to the white. Look at this. We can wrap that mountain right around. See that? Makes it a little more interesting. There's a little bit right there. Kind of connect it up. And that looks pretty good. Alright. We'll put the knife down and go back to that blending brush. I'm just going to very, very lightly tap out the bottom. And then lift up, following the angles. That creates some mist, makes the bottom of the mountain look very soft. There we go. Remember I said to step back and look. I didn't step back, but I did see this angle here should be a little bit more rough. Look too straight. So just change it. It's easy. There we go. It's a little better. Alright, let's start on some trees now. I'll take that 2-inch brush, do some brown, black, green, and maybe we want some trees right here. This is just the dark part. We'll come back in a minute and highlight them. Just tap them in. Just tap them right in. There we go. Okay. Well, we have all those colors going. I want another tree up here. Big tree. It's important, though, that you make this very dark. This tree must be dark. If it's not, it'll look very flat. And I want a lot of depth in my tree. I'm going to have it hang in like that. Form all the little limbs. There we go. A little more dark. Alright, that one turned out pretty good. Let's do one on the other side, just like it. Have it come right in. It's important that you don't tap on here at random and hope a tree's going to come up. It won't. You have to think about it as you're tapping it in. Think about the limb spacing and the shapes. It's all very important. Very, very important to the tree. And I'm kind of varying my colors and grabbing blues and greens. It just changes it up so it's not all the same. The most important thing here is that it's very dark. It needs to be extremely dark. Otherwise this just won't work. It won't look right. And maybe there's some land that comes out like that. There. We'll figure out where we want the land later. That just gives you an idea. Alright, let's highlight some of these trees. Grab a brush, a little bit of yellow, maybe a little bit of red, and some green. And with that, we can highlight these background trees. Just tap. Tap and leave a lot of dark. Now these trees are a little bit further away, so we don't have to be as detailed with these. Just a few hits with that brush and then leave it alone. maybe change the color a little bit, just so it's not all the same. Just tap it very lightly. If you're having trouble getting your paint to come off, add a little bit of paint thinner, but not much. Don't push any harder, just add some paint thinner. Alright, looking pretty good. Maybe there's a little bit of grass back here too. Okay. Now let's do these, you know what? Let's do some tree trunks first. So I'll grab a little bit of brown, black, just very dark color. And we want a tree trunk right here. Let it go right down, just like that. Not a big deal, just looking for the dark. There we go. Maybe there's an extra limb right there. And over here we want a smaller trunk, not nearly as big. There we go. It's as easy as that. Just drop it right in. Alright. A little bit of white and brown. We can mix up a nice colored highlight. And we'll come right over here and just pull very lightly. See, that gives you some nice highlights. Don't overmix your color and don't push too hard. I want all that bark texture in there. It looks like real bark. So just tap it in very lightly. And a little bit on this side too. Don't need too much. And a lot of that might get covered up. That's alright. Some of it will show through and it'll look nice. There's a little touch on that tree. A little bit right there. A little bit more. And I think that should be good. Alright. Let's highlight yellow and green and red. Just a nice highlight color. And I might thin that down a little. I have some thin white. Grabbed a little bit of that. So let's use this. This should be good. Just tap. Yeah, that looks very nice. Now, here's the key. Leave a lot of dark. Do not over highlight. See all that dark I'm leaving? So hit it a few times and then skip down to somewhere else. The worst thing that could happen here is you lose all that dark. You want to save it. It'll make your tree look so much better. Not as much highlight down here, maybe none at all. Change that color a little. See, I just added a little bit of green, blue, black, just to change it. And we want a few highlights right here, but not too many. Definitely not too many. There we go. Just tap them right in. See, that kind of covers that trunk, and it'll push it back for you. That easy. Because the tree trunks look better if they have a few leaves growing over them. It makes them fit better into the painting. Maybe we want a little bit of highlight out here. Just tap. Maybe a little right there. Okay. I'm going to thin that down a little bit. And let's have some bushes or some thick grass. Doesn't really matter what it is, but let's have something growing here. Same on this side. I think that'll really make it look very nice. Cover up the bottom of the tree trunk, push it back. There we are, that easy. Leave a lot of dark. Alright, let's work on some reflections. I'm going to take the bottom of those trees and pull them down. Same over here. Then I'll go very lightly across. Very, very lightly. In fact, over here, there's some dark color. Because that's a dark tree. It's pretty tall, so I want to grab a lot of dark color and pull down. See, that reflection matches that tree a little better now. We'll do the same over here. Mostly blue and black and some green. Then we'll go lightly across, very, very lightly across. See that? Get nice reflections. All right, let's paint in some rocks. Rocky shore. There it goes. Just a little bit of brown on the knife. That's all it is. Now it's very thick. There's a ton of texture up here. And that's a good thing. I like painting with a lot of texture. It'll make it easier to highlight too. Don't be afraid to really layer this paint on thick. It'll help you. It'll make it work a lot better for you. There it goes. Very dark. Had to kind of work up into the bushes a little. Back to my blue and white. Oh, not blue and white. There's a little bit of blue. Brown and white. Back to the brown and white. And we can very, very lightly highlight. This is just like that mountain. Just letting a little bit of that color break. See that? It's very rough. Old rocks. That easy. There we go. Super easy. Very light touch. That's the key. If you don't have that light touch, it's not going to work out for you. It must be a very light touch. There we go. Alright, to make that look even better, we'll go back to that color. Kind of push them back. See that? Take some of that grass and kind of tuck it up and around the bushes. It'll push them back for you. There we go. Maybe have some of it growing down like that. With a little bit of white. We even got to thin it down slightly. So a little bit of thin white on the knife. And we can make some water lines. Really, these are reflections of light on the water. And it kind of separates your dark reflection from the dark bushes. See that? It sets them apart, and now you can tell that that's water a little more easily. There's no question that that's water now. You can tell where the land stops. Just that easy. Rub them in. Keep them very flat though, as flat as you can. Just a little right there. It's important that this paint is thinned a little bit. If it's not thin, you kind of end up picking up that reflection color too much. A little bit out here. Alright, that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to take the point of that knife and scratch in some sticks and some tree trunks, and we'll call this painting done. So, don't forget to check out my website, and thanks for watching.